I'm going to call the meeting to order of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District Board of Directors at 6:30 p.m. on February 22nd, 2024. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors from the previous meeting on February 1st. Any questions, comments, concerns?
None from me.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting?
I make a motion we approve the minutes of the meeting of February 1st.
Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next thing, item on the agenda is receive comments from the public. First one is D.
Yeah, I guess Betty has some information for us on her documentation from the TCEQ about the 3-foot inside outside.
I did get an email back from him within, I think, the next week or so, and I've already sent it to Keith as well. There is no TCEQ rule about a 2-foot or 3, mentioning how many feet it has to be. There is, and he went into great detail with 3 or 4 other violations or violators that have done this, that they have to clean. He said, when you have a 6-foot fence, then you have a 2-foot barbed wire fence. You have to keep the 2-foot barbed wire fence clear of any debris, brush, trees, places where anybody can come in and do that. So he said you have to have at least a 2-foot. If you only go the 2-foot every time, then he said people are probably going, but he says, is this on your property? And you know, it is on our property. So he said you can clean it as much as you want to, just to keep the maintenance down. You don't have to do it every month. You might want to do it every 2 or 3 months. And he kind of put all that in an email. I sent it to Keith, so Keith can respond on that too.
Well, I know because I sent her.
You know, you can decide if you're late.
But anyway, we don't have a 2-foot line. It's only about a foot. And so there is really nothing that tells you it has to be 2 feet or 3 feet. There's no rules.
Correct.
Okay, but
That's right.
it's still our liability to clean the fence line, and we did that. And there's nothing, we can't go back and not do it now.
No,
it's got to
but
be
we can
maintained.
fix it. Because
There's
look
no
at
way to
what
fix
you've
it.
done to the front of RP. What about plant number 1? Why wasn't that fixed?
It's not a usable
It's not.
plant
How
right
did the
now.
rodents know that? Wasn't that the point? To fix it so the
Security.
rodents wouldn't get in there?
Well, security is part of it also.
Dean, what do you want us to do?
I want you to replace the plants that were destroyed.
Okay, but we're not required to have plants there.
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
Well, we are,
Why?
because that was how it was set up at the beginning, to
That doesn't
hide
mean
it
they're
from the
required.
view of the public. It's right at the front of RP. It's like an industrial site right there.
There's no-
Well,
we
that
can
would
put
be the
enough
HOA
plants.
that would have to come to us and,
But we can't have plants enough, as tall as that tank is, we can't have 20-foot plants to cover the plant. So,
Then, well, they spent a hell of a lot of money with the plants and the fence to make it look good.
but this has
And
been
now
brought
it
up a
doesn't.
couple of times. I think we should, this should be the last time.
But there is
we
no
talk about it.
requirement to have plants in front of it.
There is no requirement to cut them down either.
That's right, but so we can do it.
No, it's done for the look of the
I understand
subdivision.
that, but there's no requirement to do that.
So you're just gonna have it look like crap, so that's the way it is. The thing is, it was said 3 feet, they cut 5 feet. So, I mean, there was no supervision over there. Nobody looked. And then Betty, I have to ask you, why were you at the plant?
I went there when I was driving around looking at all the sprinkler heads, and I saw the guys there, and I wondered who they were, so I drove up there.
Okay, I guess I have another question too. You're the secretary, but you know that we're paying an attorney to do the minutes, and it's costing $540 a month for every meeting for the attorney to do the minutes. And
Yes.
there's other things that can be done internally, but that's why we have such a huge attorney bills.
okay.
We're aware of it.
You're aware of it? Well,
Yep.
then, I'd like to know, how can we have 2 attorneys from Smith Murdoch, but I can't see it. Are they both here,
We don't
up
have
there?
2 from Smith, well,
Yes, we do.
Austin and, yeah.
Yes, so we're paying, you know how much we're paying a month for our attorneys? $407 for Davis, $300 for Austin, and $455 for Paul, for every hour. Now, you know, all this money's going down the tubes, but there are things that can be done internally to cut our costs, and nobody's looking at the bills.
All right. We will take that under advisement, Dee.
Okay,
You're up to
did
your
you,
3
have you
minutes.
gotten the date for the meet and greet?
Nope, we're gonna discuss tonight at some point, so. Okay, James Baldridge.
I just want to say that I'm running for the position on the board. I'm glad to be here tonight, and hope we'll see you all in the future.
Okay, thanks. Bruce Freeman, I don't know if you had, yes or no, you wanted to speak?
You were talking about before, a generator, I believe, for one part of the,
One of the plans.
yeah, power plant out there. Have y'all bought that yet?
I don't think so.
May I suggest that you write a set of specifications and then go out for pre-bids on that? But put together a set of specifications. I work for companies, 3 companies, and we never bought any equipment unless we wrote specifications and put those out for bids.
Right. I'm sure they do that, I'm sure, I mean, we put
I
out,
haven't seen
we put out
anything.
requests for bids for everything,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
All projects have to be publicly bid over 25,000, is the solicitation mark, and then over 150,000, we have to publicly advertise for 2 weeks and then take bids on the 3rd week. So, and we do put specifications to everything that we put out, whether it be generators, motor control centers, sanitary sewer lines and such. So, we do have to follow by the regulations for all that.
Where are you on this generator that you're getting ready to buy?
The generator is part of a larger electrical upgrades plan at the wastewater treatment facility, which will be replacing the motor control center as well. We are still working on wrapping up the plans on the electrical side of things because we have some civil work in there as well.
Then what you'll do is put those out for bid?
That's correct, sir. They will be publicly advertised on in the local business journal. And all things will be publicly available on CivCast as well as through our office at Bowler Spencer Engineering.
Okay.
All right, no one else wants to discuss? Will you sign in before you leave?
I signed it
Oh.
back here, but
Okay. All right, that it for comments from the public? All right, next item on the agenda is a fire station location.
I'll go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna turn it over to you, because I think you've been working with their attorney.
We've been in touch with their attorney, have some updates for the board, some kind of terms to discuss, and was going to suggest that because it is a real estate transaction, real estate negotiation, that we discuss those terms in executive session.
Okay, I agree.
And to be clear, I think we are ready to, we do not have a lease that is ready for your approval. Just, I know they were working hard to get it to us, just got it recently and ready to kind of talk turkey, so.
Okay.
Will the lease include the drawing of the build out and all that? Is that gonna include everything, or is the lease just the rental part of it?
At this point, I have not seen a drawing for what they are proposing. I've seen a draft document without exhibits, so.
has the location already been determined?
Gonna be in this building for right now. Then, have they set on that location, Taylor, for when they build? Have they pretty much set on that location?
No, I mean, we sent it over to the engineer, and the whole thing with using this building came up, and so that, I believe, kind of got put on the back burner as far as I know.
Okay.
That's all we're talking about right now, Julie, is using primarily the portion of the building that is not used by the district for meeting purposes.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Number 4, financial and bookkeeping matters, bookkeeper's report.
Hey guys. So I took off started exactly where y'all left off from the previous bookkeeper. So if you're looking hand in hand, it's just continuation on. Your general operating fund is first, so you'll have this as your ending balance. That's the starting point up here. So we left off with $89,527. We've got a transfer from your online account. This is to fund your expenses in this account. Payment from Hancock. This was delivered to my office. This is the Realistic Results Disaster Response, $200. Earned interest and service charges on this account under checks previously approved. These are checks that are written between meetings, and you'll see them in this category each time. There are checks that were blank checks, or checks that you'll have to come to my office, or Julie had to get them circulated. That's where you'll find these. We've got all seasons lawn maintenance for lawn services, consolidated for your telephone expenses, Miss Betty for director fees. J&K, this is the tree removal. This is one of the invoices that came through. And then you've got checks presented for signatures today. So J&K for the tree removals, municipal accounts, and these are bookkeeping fees only through January 7th. They will have a follow-up bill. They just have not sent that to me. Municipal operations, this is your maintenance and operations for January. Prepared publications, your operations admin fees, legal fees, synaptic integrations. Look, I don't think that y'all are used to seeing this every single month, but this is an invoice that y'all have to pay for.
Yeah, it's supposed to be every month, but he doesn't get them to us every month.
Okay, well, I'll start bugging him for it.
Okay.
They would appreciate that.
I-
He forgets.
I've got additional legal fees, Vogler and Spencer, and I'm splitting out, and you'll see this going forward, their expenses per project. So if y'all have questions on them, let me know, but this is their general engineering, their lead service line, everything, and I did confirm with Taylor the expenses that are supposed to be paid at general operating versus your joint drainage and your STP and your capital projects fund. So you'll see them all separate going forward. Consolidated for telephone expenses, your refunds to the customers for this month, your river plantation joint drainage. So this is the expenses after billing for the joint drainage expenses, and then your January STP billing. Like I said, I did your billing for all the accounts. It's going to change slightly, and you're going to see a true up on your next bookkeeping report. New blank checks. Y'all are used to writing blank checks. They're not totally blank. They are typed out. We actually use a typewriter. Typed out for CenterPoint Energy, Consolidated, and Energy. So when a bill comes through, so that it is not late, we've got that in our office. We hold it. It is in a fireproof, locked cabinet, and so that we can use that in between meetings. Our ending balance in your checking account is $86,750.01. Your next page, general operating online account. This is where all of your accounts receivable, so people paying into your accounts for their bills. This is where that money is going into. For this month, we've got $64,097, earning a little bit of interest on this account, and then you see that transfer to the general operating checking account. Below that, your investments, so your Texas Class account. This is still earning the best interest. Your January interest on these Texas Class accounts was 5.5403%, so wonderful interest. Including your Tex Class, your online account, and your checking account, we've got total operating funds $1,366,932.77. Your tax deposit account, your tax deposits coming through, I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but across the board have been late this year. So I'm used to hyping up all my other districts. Yeah, December's a great time for your taxes coming through. They are actually coming in January and February. That is the mortgage companies paying on behalf of all of the loans, the property taxes going into your accounts. So you'll see that $275,000 coming through, and you're going to still continue to see that on your next bookkeeping report. Total tax deposit account of $291,917.65.
Why were there $25 being charged?
Yes, so I noticed your bank accounts. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not exactly sure where they were listed on your previous bookkeeping reports, but you have had service charges each month. And I don't know if there's.
I'm surprised it's only $25.
I actually wanted to talk about that.
Because First Financial
Is that a
does
paper
analysis
statement maybe?
fees
Why
and
they're,
everything
it's
else.
$25 for a paper?
It just says service charge on the accounts. Y'all are using First Financial, and if y'all would like to stay there, that's great, but I would suggest Central. I talked to Julie over the phone, and I just kind of assumed because they have a wonderful public funds department, and I'm used to most of my accounts, probably 98–99% of my accounts are at Central Bank checking accounts. LNS specifically, so my company, negotiated all of our accounts down to $5 service charges per month. That is exclusive to LNS, and that does not include if we had wire fees. So that is still an additional fee, wiring it out, that's separate. But we also have negotiated, and this is in effect in the middle of this month actually, high yield interest-bearing accounts for a central bank. They are going to mimic the Texas class account interest. So what that means, and this is for every month, and again, exclusive to LNS, that means this capital projects fund that you'll have for First Financial, you've got your Texas class accounts that has both of your money. We're earning great interest, but you still have to have a checking account opened at a bank that can accept checks and write checks out. Texas class does not allow that. So it's still necessary to have an account open for that's not at Texas class, but if you move it to central bank, then you're getting better interest and lower service charges. So.
And what's the renewal time frame on that? In other words, at the interest rate that we're getting, is it every 30 days, 90 days? Is it at 1 year?
It is, it's a fluid account, it's liquid, so you're getting interest every month, and we can use that freely. And that is also including your Texas class accounts. Those accounts are open to be taken and used. It's not the same as a CD, which is probably what you're used to seeing.
Okay.
A CD locks up your money, and then you don't get paid that interest until after X amount of time.
Right.
All of these accounts are fluid, are liquid. I can go in and say, we got to spend this money, I need to use it. Let's pull it out. I can do that anytime. So that was something else I wanted to talk to you all about.
We don't have a central bank here that I know of. Is there one in Tomball?
No, actually, we use the one off of Clay Road, and I think it's still a separate, but maybe it's a Houston.
Clay
Houston
Road, that would be
address.
Houston or Grady.
Yeah, they have an excellent.
Yeah, I've been doing this 4 or 5 years, and I've never been to a bank.
They're very easy to work with. They have a really good public funds department. That is important in what we do because they need to recognize me as, I'm not a director. I can't sign your checks, but I still need to be able to move your money, and I still need to have access to it so that I can make your debt service payments, which are coming up. I need to be able to not be getting grief because it's not me talking to, I'm not a director on the board. They have separate consultant authorization forms that we fill out saying, Tiffany and Deborah are able to invest our money, where you're able to move it around, but I don't sign checks. So I can bring that information next month to get all these accounts switched over if you would like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Moving on, so your capital projects fund, we're going to see a lot of transfers next meeting. I did not go through, I coded every single thing, I've entered every document that you guys have for the entire year. There's a lot of transfers that need to be done, but I need to talk with Taylor more about that and kind of just confirm all the movement before I start moving money. So I did transfer from your Texas class account the $25,000 that is covering the 2 items that we have for y'all today. So you've got your STP billing. This is specific to the wastewater treatment plant facility rehab phase 1. That is one of the checks for y'all today, and then Vogler and Spencer. And this is true capital projects fund expense. Leaving your checking account at a lower balance, $6,244, and then your Texas class accounts are listed there. There was a transfer made out of your 2022 park. This was made after y'all's last bookkeeping report, and I don't really know why it was made. There was no backup for that.
How much was it for?
It closed out the account. So,
The last of the bond.
yes.
Didn't we have some sprinkler repairs
Yeah.
recently?
That's what it was.
Perfect. So I can get that coded correctly, and it's already been made, so we'll just want to make sure. Total capital projects funds.
Taylor may be able to help you with that invoice if that's.
Yeah, I think it should have been sprinkler related, so we can take a look at it. Tiffany.
Okay. 3.67 left in your capital projects funds. Your debt service funds are at Texas class, earning the best interest there. We've got our next debt service payment coming up. This is a fun time period for us. We do a debt service party and pay all of these. So we'll be making your debt service payment within the next few days. That is remaining $624,000 in your debt service, and then your park at $52,201. Both of your accounts have adequate funds for this upcoming debt service payment. Your next page is your sewer treatment plant, showing the money coming in for the receivable side for river plantation mud. You've got all of your expenses that are related specific to the STP account, so GFL for sludge removal, your bookkeeping fees from municipal accounts, Operations and maintenance, Vogler and Spencer's, all of their projects that they have going on. 2 new blank checks. We did not receive in energy or public services yet, so that's why these are on here. Ending balance, $14,344. The joint drainage fund, 2 checks this time around, energy and municipal accounts. And if you guys have noticed, y'all don't have an LNS bill. We just bill by the month, so y'all will have the very first one next month. So.
I like the fact that you're writing this out and telling us what it's for. I'm here so we can
Yeah,
have
I'd
a
like
clear
to,
picture.
as easy as you can. Your next page is your P&L, so your next page is the P&L. This is the general operating profit and loss. If you're looking at that third column, that's where I like to show you guys. So third column in that middle there, we're looking at October through January. This is where y'all are at year to date. You'll see midway down your page, maintenance taxes. It's always a category I like to point out. So we've collected $822,000 year to date out of what we anticipated, what our budget was, $855,000. So that's good collections. We've got, let's see, total revenues, so that middle column midway down the page, $1,110,000 so far collected. Your water expenses follow, and on to your next page, page 2 of your P&L, your sewer expenses and other. The other category is all of your administrative fees, so you've got bookkeeping, your legal, all that's split out for y'all. You're still sitting, after everything, $581,000 in the green. So what that means is y'all just have not received all of the expenses in yet. That does not mean that y'all are trying to benefit or profit on anything. That just means the timing of the year, y'all are haven't incurred as many expenses as y'all have anticipated just yet.
That doesn't mean you need to look for something.
Yep. The next page is your P&L for the STP account. Looking at that first and that third column, this is showing that we have billed everything out to the participants, that 0 line item at the very bottom. You'll see it 0 every single time. That means that every single expense that has come in has been billed out to all the participants. And your year-to-date, the same thing. Your next page is your joint drainage. The same idea. So that first column and third column, everything has been billed back 100% to everybody.
Can you tell me why there's revenue for drainage?
In the joint drainage account,
Yes.
the revenue is what we code your incoming side from East Plantation and from River Plantation. So we bill all of these expenses out to them in order to be able to show that we are at net 0. We're not supposed to be, this account is completely being billed based on the projects out to both the people. Is that what you're saying?
So
We have to cover the costs. So in order to cover the costs, we have to pay half in East Plantation, yes, pay.
so the revenue is coming from
Us and
us
them.
and them. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like accounting.
I appreciate the fact that you go through the end of a month instead of the middle of a month.
Yes. The last page you guys have is your 2022 bonds. This is the remaining funds in your series, so the remaining capital projects funds that you guys have, and the category. So looking at this, you've got that very far right column, whether you're over or under in that category. So where you still have room to go out and spend money on projects. This needs to be, a deeper dive needs to go into this, and Taylor and I have already talked about that. So I know we're gonna look kind of line by line at where have things been coded. And so this is probably gonna change a little bit, but it's at least a good starter point for y'all. And you'll see that ending balance in there, the $3,679,000. That's everything for this time around. Like I said, we will have the due from East Plantation. We'll have all those accounts. I think that we should get them squared away first before I start printing and including those. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I like the.
Good report.
Good report.
Move we accept the report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next one, order levying additional penalty for delinquent taxes.
Okay, this is something we do on an annual basis, and it pays the cost associated with the collection of the delinquent taxes. So for real property, which I know everybody is most interested in, it attaches on July 1. So taxes that are delinquent On February 1, if they still remain unpaid 5 months later, there's a 20% penalty that attaches, and the delinquent taxpayers get notice of that penalty, and it generally generates some additional collections, but it keeps the district from bearing the cost associated with filing suit to collect those taxes. So, I'll just say it applies to all accounts. So, $100 account or $100,000 account. So, any questions?
No.
Again, we do it every year, and to the best of my knowledge, all taxing jurisdictions in the state of Texas do the same.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion to?
That's right. You need to make a motion to adopt the order to levy the penalty for this year.
I make a motion, we adopt the order leveling the additional penalty for delinquent taxes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next one, resolution affirming identity theft prevention program.
Okay, because the district is a utility provider, Federal Trade Commission requires that you have an identity theft prevention program in place. Municipal Operations maintains that program. It is a confidential program. It includes things like checking leases and closing statements and IDs, basically making sure people are who they say they are and that they should be opening a utility account in the district. One of the goals being to make sure that people can't open fraudulent utility accounts to perpetrate further fraud, right? You think about it, you go to get a driver's license, what do they want to see? A utility bill. So we just put this on the agenda for compliance purposes, and every year MOC will notify us if they have any red flag events or any issues with the program, and they'll provide a letter to that effect. So I think Keith or Mario is there. Can you guys let us know if there have been any issues with the program?
None to report, and we don't recommend any changes at this time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mario.
Okay, do we need to adopt that resolution?
We do. We need to adopt the resolution for compliance purposes.
I make a motion, we adopt the resolution affirming identity theft program.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, park rules. Penalty for operation of prohibited motor vehicle.
Okay, so we included in the packet a kind of a tweak to the park rules and regulations that essentially says, for your own benefit and really for the board's use and kind of ease in administration, you can adopt essentially guidance, a guidance document where you specify kind of proposed penalties for certain violations. I included a proposed penalty for the operation of a vehicle in the park, and also a couple of other items in there that the board may want to consider. This is not necessarily something you need to take action on tonight, but you can absolutely discuss it. Again, exactly as we discussed last month, and Paul, feel free to add to this. This is not mean that you are moving from the same proceeding you have been going through to some sort of, citation program. It just means that you can have, maybe an agreed, fee for what you guys think might be a kind of a standard issue, meaning like a contractor cutting across the park, right? So it'd be what we've proposed is, a number plus any actual expenses, associated with the repairs. So absolutely open to board discussion. Paul, feel free to jump in if there's anything you'd like to add, but I think it's really just for the board's kind of use in saying, hey, if this happens again, here's what we think we would do. So
I think one thing we need to add where it says plus damages, does it also say plus attorney fees?
Absolutely.
Associated with it?
Sure, and we actually addressed that in the park rules. This is, I think Austin helped me with this, but Austin, don't we have 30 days in there? If they pay it within 30 days,
Yeah, it's in that.
then that's the fee. Yeah,
That's correct.
so
Yeah,
they
but
go
if
over
they
30
pay
days.
within 30 days, they've still had to have some type of contact with you, right?
With one of you?
With Paul, I mean, with our attorneys. They've had some contact with the attorneys, so there's gonna be an expense involved from day one.
I think that any attorney fees that are incurred due to a violation should be tacked onto any fine that way we can be more lenient on the fines, because our attorney fees are covered.
That's true.
That's perfectly fine. I mean, you can take that into consideration in deciding what you think is a fixed amount. I mean, I'm thinking that these are simple violations where we're just sending a notice of violation letter, right? Hey, we understand that you operated a vehicle in the park. Here's the board has considered the matter. Here's the penalty that's been assessed. If it gets more complicated than that, I have a hard time believing that you're going to want to stick to a flat fee type penalty. But again, it's up to the board. That's the danger of specifying any sort of proposed penalty like this. I mean, I think if you have too many variables, I don't know how helpful it is.
So why are there 3 documents here on this subject in the packet?
Yeah.
Why is there what?
One of them's really old.
It's the old one that
And it's
changes.
edited. No, so there's the first one that's edited, and then there's the second one that seems to be.
So you should have a red line of the park rules showing the changes that were made,
Yeah.
which starts on, well, I guess right after it starts right after the resolution affirming identity theft prevention program.
Right.
Then you should have a clean version of that document that follows.
And that's all that second.
So not with the track changes. And then you should have a third document that is the schedule of minimum penalties. So truthfully, I was trying to make it easier on y'all, showing you the red line, just so you can see exactly what changes we have made. So pretty minimal changes to the park rules themselves, but then we have that schedule that we added for your consideration.
So we need to come up with these minimum penalty amounts that are missing here?
They said we didn't have to do that tonight.
No,
I think we should.
but at some point.
Yeah.
You guys say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so board, the genesis of this is I think it's the commentary from last meeting, where Mr. McGarity didn't pay anything on time, and so we came back to you and said that we'd had this mercy, the board had mercy and assessed a $200 fine, and then he never paid it. He finally did pay it. But we saw that there was a situation where when you're lenient on someone and then they don't pay, and then we have all these attorney's fees. So the question was, should there be a minimum fine so we don't get in that situation again? That was sort of how this came about. So that way, when it's not to remove your ability to deliberate about things, it's so that we don't get caught in feeling sorry for somebody. And we say, okay, $50, and then you got to pay one of your lawyers or your operator. Your operator is the one who sends the notice originally, and they cost money too. And so then you end up in the hole. So the thought was, can we come up with a minimum amount so we don't ever have that problem? And that's what this is setting out for you. But I mean, there's about 1,000 ways to skin this cat. So y'all can think about it. You can talk about it. Tell us yay, nay, tell us do something different. You can, put it on the agenda for next month and keep thinking about it, but it's just to try to put in there, and maybe the idea, we could put in a range, things like that, kind of like when you do a ticket, but that's the purpose of it.
Okay.
My opinion is that we all sit down and read the changes and look at it and decide next month what we want to do with it.
I agree.
I agree.
As far, well, road parks, I have a couple of things on that as well. Are you through with your part? Dave?
I think we're through. I would just recommend that, obviously you can't do it in a group together that would constitute a quorum, so probably you're gonna do this by yourselves. But I would take that packet and make your own notes on it about what you think are reasonable numbers or ranges or comments to that type of an approach, so we can put in a schedule and publish it, so that way there's not a heartstrings approach to every one of these or whatever, that way everybody's treated the same. So I would make those notes and bring them to the next meeting.
Okay.
And I'll just add that schedule, we included just essentially to show you if you wanted to include a scheduled fee for something else, you could. So you don't necessarily need to fill in those two blanks. And if there is another violation for which you would like to include a scheduled fee, we can absolutely add that. So it's absolutely at the board's discretion.
Okay. So we'll table it till next month.
Yeah.
Well, on that part, but I have, there's another area that we have, I have two things actually. One area that we have that seems like it's kind of fallen into a gray area or never been addressed by us. And we've all assumed that golfing, that Charleston is closed to golf. And yet we have people that are showing up and practicing. Matter of fact, I've been talking to them and watching them hit balls where kids ride by on a bicycle. And I have to say, all of them have seemed like they're trying to be cautious and be careful, but when you have foot traffic, you have people walking dogs, you have bicycles, all of this stuff going up, and they can be going in any direction. And Julie made a comment that, no, well, the safety thing says they can't do it, but we need to make it official if you can play golf on Charleston. So I propose tonight that we close Charleston to any kind of golf practicing or playing of golf in order for it to be protected. And I'd like to make that in the form of a motion that we accept that tonight and add it to our park rules.
I second that.
Any discussion?
I agree.
I agree too.
It's not written now, and
It's not
it
written down,
doesn't
but-
matter, it's
You
not,
already-
common sense has no
You
place.
already have two, so, yeah, I mean, are we gonna, my only concern is, are we gonna vote, are we gonna have a resolution for everything we can't do on it? I mean,
We're gonna have to do some, but this one I think is important enough that we need to do it.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm a golfer myself, or have been for years, and it's an ideal place to go practice, and most golfers that are out there are responsible, they're gonna try to be careful. But you can't see in all directions all the time, and no golfer, nobody rather, can hit the ball right every time. It's gonna be an accident. So we need to close it.
well,
to
that's
all
not my
golf
concern, my concern is it's a park, it's not a golf course anymore.
So
Hasn't
that's,
been a golf
all I'm
course in
asking is
years.
we add to the rules, because every golfer I've talked to has said, there's no rule says I can't do this.
So we
Put
add
it
to
on
the
the
rules
sign-
on paper or add to the
And
rules
they've
on
told
the
me, put it on the
sign?
sign, and I won't do it. If you don't put it on the sign, I'm gonna do it. So I made the motion, it's been seconded, I think we should vote on it.
I don't think it has to be on the sign, but it has to be on the rules.
Well, I've got an answer to that next, let's put it in the rules first, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, all right, let's vote on
He's made
it. We've got a first and we got a second,
all those in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's official. Okay, then I'd like to go to the next step that I've taken. And one of the problems I think that happens is that we really need to post something like this. And I've gone a step before, because we can't keep changing the signs. That's not gonna happen. Okay, so I have an idea. I would propose that we make one more sign and I've got bids for it here, pass those around there, but,
Okay.
and this is just a suggestion. And I don't know if you guys will pass that around for people to see it, if they want. This is just what I'm suggesting, that we make a small sign that we can add to the bottom of the one we have now, that has something like this. We can change the wording, and just so you know what it is, this little blue thing down here represents a QR code. I've already talked with Prepared Publications. They are willing to generate the QR code for us and make the signs, and they have also given me a bid, pass that around, to make us 20 signs that'll stand up, they're protected coated, the whole bit, they got the holes to mount.
So that you put these on the post with the other
We'll put something like this on the post with the other rules, and there will be a QR code on there. And anytime that we change the rules, all we have to do is change them on our website. And that QR code will direct them to it. And it tells them on here that for the updated rules, to look at the QR code. I've also talked with Monty on this, and what we have an idea that we can do is we'll publish all the rules on the front page, take out each section, put the rules for the park, and we'll put the rules for the, as you see it here, it's got a fine schedule or whatever. We can word that any way you want. But this is what I recommend. This is only $525 for the signs.
For all 20 signs? That's
For all
not bad.
20 signs.
Oh, that's a good price.
And a QR code, and putting it on the website. I mean, this is turnkey, it's
That's a great
everything we
price.
put them on,
Yeah,
everything we
yeah,
put on the pole is there. So if you guys wanna go this way, here's our option. If you wanna look through some outside check-in or whatever, it's up to you. But this is what I suggest.
Good job, Tom.
Yeah, I like that.
Because you can't.
You can't
just
list everything.
Going and talking to people doesn't do any good.
Right.
If you don't have something to back it up.
And this will make it more noticeable, because if we just made a whole new sign with this on the bottom, they're gonna think they're not gonna notice it's a different sign. This will show that it's a
And the
completely
thing I
different
like about it is anytime something changes, we don't have to go change signs. We change it on our website,
Absolutely.
and they can see it right there.
sign. I like this, good job.
If you guys want me to, I can get with Monty and put this in motion, but we have to have an authorization for him to make the sign.
Motion?
I make a motion, we, get the new signs made and have Monty take care of adding it onto the website and.
Yeah, I mean, he'll bring the signs to us too.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Good job.
there you go.
If you want me to go ahead and start the reels as far as putting it on the
It's your
website,
project.
okay, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Oh, only other question, do you want this changed or do you want it like this?
I'm good with it.
Huh?
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Is everybody okay with the way that's worded?
Yep.
Okay, I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Good.
All right. Park rules, park maintenance matters. Do we have anything, or is that fall under, is that what Tom's was?
Sprinklers.
Tom's really
Oh,
fell
that's
under
it,
park
Taylor's.
rules and regulations. The park maintenance matters we've just been carrying because there've been a handful of items that have come up, so, just.
I do have something under my report that would
Yeah.
be,
The
regarding
sprinklers.
Charleston Parks sprinklers and stuff, but we can just go ahead under my report as well. if
Okay.
That's okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Operators report then.
All right, good evening. I thought you weren't good with technology, Tony. I thought you weren't good with technology. All right, January's report, we got total connections of 977, 14 vacancies. Revenues totaling at $63,971.10. We got total pumpage, 6,613,000 gallons, puts us 95% accountability for this month. 6 bacteriological samples taken, all came back good. Below that, we have our wastewater treatment plant numbers, almost 11.5 inches. That was the heavy rain event we had, and we are at 89% of our permanent capacity for the month. A lot of that was, unfortunately, infiltration. 0 reuse for the month. Down below, we have our aged receivables and our consumption, and our accountability charts below.
So can I ask you a question? At what point, since we're at 89%, at what point do we have a issue?
That was a one-time event.
Wait, because of
Yeah,
the-
yeah, I think you have to be three consecutive months. I think.
Okay,
Taylor can jump in and probably correct us, but yeah, they're looking for consecutive months. So if you're 75% or above for 3 consecutive months, then you're supposed to begin design.
okay.
If you're 90% or above for 3 consecutive months, I think they want you to be under construction. But again, the state also recognizes that there's systems like this that you have I&I, so
Right.
they're not gonna ding you on one occasion. They're gonna look for that pattern.
Okay.
Guys, at Ravensworth and Robert E. Lee, there's an open drain culvert there. Okay, is that being addressed?
Yes.
It's been there for
So
several months.
that's part of
Year.
Taylor's project.
That's
So that one's on the list as well. And we put barricades and they removed.
Yeah,
So,
okay. I
who
went by
removed
there today, there's nothing
I
there.
guess the customers
Oh.
or the kids, you know, Mr. Julie, I think I've flagged it 3 or 4 times already, and it just disappears.
Okay.
Yep.
So
It's got a tire in it, that helps.
Yeah.
that'll break the fall a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the next couple pages are DMR submitted to the state. Again, no excursions or breaches, nothing to report. Everything's running good. And a great job on the letter farm, looks good to me.
Good job.
Yeah, and to that end, and I'm sure maybe we'll discuss it, but just know that we're happy to go in the bill or, you know, whatever we can do on it to try to get it out to customers.
I'm gonna send it to you tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, engineers,
We gotta approve it.
Yeah, approve the engine operator's report.
Yeah, I move with the
I second
operator's
it.
report.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, engineers report.
Thank you.
All right, guys. First thing on our list is the stormwater quality management plan. As I mentioned last time, this is the last year of the report, and there's going to be an updated stormwater quality management report that's going to have to be prepared. Now, the TCEQ is switching their system, and so they've actually pushed that submittal to August while they try to figure out all the kinks and bugs and stuff. So we'll just keep that on the list for now. We'll keep monitoring for the new system. It's supposed to be all online and easier, but the TCEQ's history of technology has never been that great. As far as design projects, nothing to report on the theme work. Next quarterly report is due the end of March, and that's just to say, hey, it's still in y'all's hands for review. East ditch maintenance. The next maintenance will be scheduled for April. That'll be the second quarter cleaning. I did talk to him about the Stonewall Jackson Bridge area where that dirt was left, Carl, and he got notification from the golf course that they wanted to leave it there. He said he has no problem taking it off. The only thing I told him is he needs to call us when that happens, just so we're aware of it. But if the golf course is asking for dirt all the time, it'd just be nice if they would let us know.
Right, and you've been in contact with Rob at the course, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna reach out to him next week when I get back to just kind of coordinate with him a little more and just say, hey, we don't mind giving you whatever dirt you want, in our project. It's just, we don't like leaving it in the channel still. If you've got a place we can stockpile it or whatever, that'd be better.
Right.
So,
Okay, the one problem I have with that though is we asked last time when they cleaned the ditch out that they would fill in the holes along the ditch, and those holes are getting huge over there. And the same thing there when they put the orange fence up and it's all down already. And I'm telling you, these holes they're huge right now and caving
Especially
in.
in
So I think it might be time to get some dirt in there because even though we're putting a fence up there to protect us from liability, it's still a dangerous thing. Some kids are gonna fall in there.
So it's been, there's a lady babysitting new kids now, like 3 houses down from the Burton house. And so those kids, and ask my sister, everybody that's driving around can see, there's about 5 little kids. They're driving their bicycles and they're going across the street to the slab and playing back there, and then they're throwing things in the holes. Every day they're out there playing. So it's dangerous to have that.
I think it's time to put some dirt in there. I mean, we're waiting for the ditch, but we're waiting for the federal government on that, and it's ridiculous,
Yeah, we have a lot of stockpile dirt. We've used that to stockpile dirt when we were doing projects around the area for the contractors to save money for haul off. So we can have MOC start grabbing that dirt and put it in those holes. I don't think they'll have an issue with it.
Right, and
Mario
and-
loves hauling dirt.
And going back to the golf course, you know, as far as written, all I'm hearing is spoken word here, but as far as written, the owner sent us an email saying that we have to get that dirt out of there, but now we're hearing that they do want to use it, and I know they do want to use it, but we need to get something, at least an email from them or something like that.
All right,
Just
yeah,
to
I'll call
protect us.
Rob starting next week, and we'll put together some sort of email chain that is traceable.
Sounds good.
The Holly Springs drainage issue, so I've attached the cost estimate. So last time we talked about the televising and that the storm sewer had failed back there, the bottom was completely gone. If you look at the fourth page of my report, you'll see a cost estimate for removal and replacement of that storm sewer with some additives. The total cost estimate is about $67,000. I think it will come in about there. We need to solicit 3 bids for that. East Plantation, they met last night. We did give them this cost estimate. They're on board with getting it done as well. So we just want to make sure you guys are on the same page, and we'll go after solicitation of bids to get it going.
Are you saying that East Plantation's ready to go forward?
Yes. Up to
Yes.
$50,000 is what they voted.
Okay, 'cause that was my question. I thought he was asking us to do it without them.
No. they
Okay.
voted last
No,
night.
no.
And is that bond money or no?
What's that?
For the Holly Springs drainage, is that bond money or no?
Maybe it's their bond.
Yeah, that would be bond money that would be bond money for you guys.
Okay.
It's a storm sewer repair for the district, so, and that's what your bonds were sold for, part of the project.
Perfect.
You want us to vote on that now, or you want to finish your report and then
I'll get that. If y'all agree with that. District-wide drainage study, I reviewed the report. I need to make some corrections. I went back in the office Monday. So I'll have that distributed to you guys next week. It's a lengthy report. I'll point to the specific sections, kind of showing what we figured out. And I do want to say that it's actually been very helpful for other drainage issues that we've had arise where people have talked to us and asked us questions. We can pull up that study. It shows the drainage patterns and things like that. It gives us a better idea. So it's an ongoing, very useful tool for us to help solve some of these drainage issues. Sanitary sewer rehab phase 2, that was bids. I'll have for the March meeting. It actually will bid this Friday. So I'll kind of give you guys a heads up of what that came in at. Nothing on the sanitary manhole rehab. We're holding off on that one, trying to get some of the pricing to come down. We've talked to some of the manufacturers, and it seems like everything's kind of through the roof right now. It's not an on-fire project, so I don't want to make you guys spend undue inflated money if you don't have to. For the Charleston Park irrigation, still haven't gotten a maintenance proposal for the irrigation system, but I did attach 2 proposals, one for surveying the sprinkler heads so that you knew where all those were, and that's $2,650, and then one for surveying all of the trees over 24 inches on the park, which is $9,975. I sent those as 2 separate proposals if you guys want to think about one and go forward with one. Or we can discuss further if you guys have any questions.
I have a question on the irrigation system. Did you or have they been out to inspect the sprinkler heads after the flood? You said that they had not the last meeting, so I wondered if they'd been out there after the flood to make sure they're all working.
I have not gotten with them. Yeah, I wanted to meet with them again out there, and I've been with my hands full a little bit, so I'm going to meet out with them, and we'll have a full report for you guys in March on if anything's not working or anything like that.
Okay, and then at that time, you'll also do like an on-site tour of the sprinkler systems working? Or have you seen them all working?
I'm I've seen them all working beforehand, but I will do another one to make sure that everything's working with all the plumbing that happen.
Okay.
So as of right now, they're not operating every other day or every once a week or anything like that?
That's correct. They shut them off for the short period of time right now. Since you guys did get all of that rain, there was no reason to waste. Since it's potable water now, there was no reason to have them running all of this time after you got all that rain.
Okay.
Who's gonna operate them once we do start using them?
That's what the maintenance proposal we're working on for, is to have them operate them, maintain them on a regular basis. They would come out and turn them on or off as necessary, depending on the rain situation and things of that nature. Do any repairs needed, if anything were to break and stuff like that. So that's what they're putting together the maintenance proposal for.
Julie, can I ask one question?
Did you say you're gonna have them, I'm sorry, did you say you were gonna have them, show you, or operate them again?
Yes, we're gonna have them operate them again.
Could you let me know? I'd like to watch this, see it in live
Absolutely.
action.
Yeah.
Taylor, do your lines run under the bridge, the little red bridge, for the irrigation? Do you know if any of the?
No, there's because there was only that one T-box over there on the other side that drove across it, and I believe all of those lines have been cut.
So there's no PVC pipe that goes totally underneath the bridge?
Not to my knowledge.
There's
There's a green on the other side too.
Belongs to the
Yeah,
CIA.
there's a green there.
Yeah, but I thought that was the CIA's thing.
I was gonna say,
There is
I
one
thought you
under-
shut it off before.
Well,
It shuts off on that irrigation thing that the CIA.
it's not our irrigation, so the only thing that Wesco could think of was that it's the irrigation for the golf course.
I don't think it's irrigation, is it a water line? Well,
I mean, it looks
that
kinda
one day it
new.
was at Sunday.
It busted that one time.
Yeah.
And the CIA turned it off, and it was, they claimed it was their line.
They claimed it was their line.
Well, they always thought it
Yeah.
was.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Storm sewer phase 1 rehab, we did a sidewalk Wednesday, and went through all of this work that still needs to be done. I do have attached change order number 2 that I briefly mentioned last meeting in the amount of $252,000. This is because quite an extensive amount of the 42-inch and 30-inch are not accessible by remove and replace because of the overhead power lines and all the stuff within that electrical easement. This is that main run in RP section 1. Or 1 second.
I'm having a hard time.
My son has figured out how to get on top of a dresser, and my wife can't lift him right now, so I have to. I apologize. Things you don't think you're gonna do during that meeting. So these lines are not accessible by heavy equipment. We can't dig them up because of the amount of electrical lines that are running over the top of them. It looks like everybody used that easement to put all of your fiber optics, any underground electrical, any cables, all things necessary. It's a spider web of nightmares. And so this would be to line the pipes as they are. When you line pipes, it does become a new shell of pipe, and it's as good. We just don't normally do it because it is a more expensive option. And you'll see from the change order, we reduced all the things that we could. You'll see the 48-inch that we originally had in there, reduction down. The 24 inches, that line is actually running underneath the driveway, underneath the corner of somebody's house that had a failure in it that was supposed to be removed and replaced. So these are all kind of critical repairs, not something I would recommend pushing off to another later date. And the price is comparable to what we've seen when we bid it publicly for this type of work. nothing new to report on water plant number 2 electrical upgrades. The 10-year CIP, I shared the 10-year CIP with the FAA, and we're discussing the next bond issue for that. I passed that out at last month's meeting. And then questions and answers, this is more of stuff that happened in the district for this meeting. 592 Stonewall Jackson, I conducted a site visit. I requested the resident, there was a sinkhole along the concrete channel. After investigation, the outfall pipe located behind the resident's house, which is listed as our repairs, is causing the sinkholes. And so MOC went over there and filled it because it was a safety hazard in their backyard. And the contractor is going to be repairing it. Hopefully tomorrow is the date they told me, but we're going to stay on top of them to get that done.
Hey, Taylor.
And then,
sorry to interrupt, but hey, so the parents are going out of town, so they said they would prefer to do it when they get back. So I'm hoping by Tuesday or Wednesday, they're supposed to call me and we'll get that done.
Okay, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. I know you guys are going to check it out, so.
Yes.
And then 624 Durham, conducted another site visit. This is the Plantation Fairway Village, right next to the clubhouse. So there's an ongoing issue where it looks like a flow of water runs by that house. There's a gap in between the two houses in which the pathway is. If you look at the very last page of my report, this is something we generated from the drainage study that you guys had, and it is, you'll see kind of how the arrows converge on the left side coming straight through that house. Now the 620 Durham house that we pointed out, that's the wrong house. It should be the one where all the arrows are kind of coming through between the houses. What's happening is water's getting trapped there and backing up into that alleyway and then getting really close to flooding that house. The proposed solution would be to do some minor swell work and then add a culvert underneath to speed up the flow of water to that natural drainage channel that's in Charleston Park. We would be seeking right now permission to kind of begin preliminary design and bring back a cost estimate for your March meeting, essentially.
Is Fairway Village or?
No.
Plantation Village.
Plantation Village, I'm sorry, I mixed those two up. Plantation Village.
That house has had that problem since day one.
Are we
So we need to
good?
make a motion on that.
Are you done? We need to make our motions?
Yeah.
Okay.
One
That's the
question,
end of my report.
I didn't hear him talking about the survey that he was wanting to do. Did he talk about
Gave us the,
huh?
he gave us
The sprinkler heads and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's, he said, we talked about it.
there's
Yeah,
two
but
of
why
them.
do we need why do we need to survey where they are? We know where they are, don't we?
Well, I think he wants to document where they are and where
Put on a
the
map.
trees are and the sprinkler
The
heads.
guys that just put them in can't tell us that?
They certainly will give us zones and areas, but we're not gonna have a map of the actual locations they are. They'll just be able to mark them on a plan set to the best of their ability, and then it will just continue to be hand drawings from now on out. The concern was is if
2650. 2650.
20,
2650.
600.
I think it's a good
Okay,
idea.
otherwise we're gonna be in the, well, we won't be, but whoever later on down the road is gonna be in the dark, just like we were, guessing what things are.
Well, that's what I said, I thought these other guys should already have that on paper somewhere, but maybe we need it, I don't know.
I mean, they have it on paper as far as hand locations.
Right.
But it's not to any degree of accuracy in terms of, if I said, okay, where's sprinkler 75? You know, you go to, okay, that's on hole 7, it's located on the left side, halfway down the fairway. You know,
There is no
it's
home
not
setting.
really accurate.
There's a section 7, no hole 7.
I think we need to have it in, survey in
Yeah.
writing, so we'll know in case something changes next year, we'll have it down on the survey.
Okay, I'll go along
I
with
agree.
it. I just couldn't figure out why we're spending money if we don't need to.
Okay, so I need a motion for Holly Springs to move forward.
One more,
Oh.
he didn't, I don't think he addressed the Ravensworth, Robert E. Lee, pole with that, where that,
On the corner.
On the corner.
With the tires in the sinkhole.
So that's where that grate's missing, Taylor? Is that, where is that on the, project list?
You're talking about that very last area, on Ravensworth?
Yeah, right, it's right at the intersection of Ravensworth and Robert E. Lee.
The corner.
It's like a broken sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
It's got a tire sticking in it, yeah.
That's nice.
Let me look at our maps. I don't believe that was a part of our initial design, our initial fixes, because it wasn't like right in front of somebody's front yard and things of that nature. As far as location wise, we were trying to address things that were directly affecting residents.
It's in their front yard.
It's right on the front yard, it's right by the street, it's right on the corner of the street and the. and
Yeah,
it's
well,
right
I got
by
I
the
got
yard.
some of those too. Been there for 3
Yeah, I must be
years, I
thinking
know
of
why.
a different one, I'm sorry. Let me look at my maps and I'll shoot you an email later today, or
Okay.
tomorrow morning on what we have in the plan board.
He's been out 3
Okay.
times.
I think Mario just sent me the location of it, so I'll have to exactly.
Okay, all right, so we just need 2 motions, Holly Springs and Durham. Is that the only 2 we need?
And the, if you guys want to approve the change order, if you guys.
Oh,
want
on
to
the
approve survey.
surveys, yeah. All right, so somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we, do the, Holly Springs.
A second.
Move forward with it,
Durham Drive,
and Durham Drive,
and we pursue the survey of the,
and we go ahead with the survey of the
The
locate the
sprinkler heads.
sprinkler heads.
and the
All
trees.
together or
And the
separate?
tree survey. Get them all at the same time.
Okay.
Well, somebody's gonna
No, no, I second.
vote differently on one of them. All right,
I want
You
to motion
second it?
second.
I
Okay.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, next thing is the executive session. So we will see you all when we're finished.
How about pending business? You gonna do that now? Are you gonna be voting after the executive session, do you know?
We don't
No
know.
idea.
Well, then how about doing pending business?
Okay, what pending business do we have?
Well, the meet and greet, I guess, is the only thing that you need to.
Oh,
take care
okay.
of.
So, does anyone on the board want to do a meet and greet for the candidates? We've got 2 people on the board that are
Going to do what to us?
a meet and greet
I
for
see
the
no need for
upcoming
it.
election.
I like
Who
it.
is,
I don't see a need for it.
who is running?
Tom and Betty are up for re-election. Mark Denham and Mr. Baldridge, James Baldridge, are running for the seats. So we have 4 candidates. Okay.
Can we do it at the next meeting?
I think it'd be a good idea.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Well, you want to do it here?
Sure. During the meeting, but just, you were talking 5 minutes each or something like that.
Well, usually it's,
Oh,
but
it's
we've
a
done it
big-
before, it's
yeah,
when
yeah,
you've
the
asked
church.
questions, you've been able to ask
Yeah, you
questions.
have a lot of
and
people.
It's not just, I mean, it's a, I mean,
Normally, the CIA does it down at the church, but
Right.
I don't, I mean, I don't know
Well,
what everybody wants.
when you were
but I
running,
see it as a big
it was at
deal.
the church, had a lot of people.
yeah,
That's true.
that's true. So,
I think it's a good idea,
all right.
because we have 2 new people running
And,
too.
and prospective dates.
That's what I was gonna say, we'll have to coordinate with the church for prospective dates.
We gotta be ahead of time of the absentee voting, which is gonna be mid-April for a May election. So,
So you're gonna do it, well, I won't
Like
be here, so
March,
somebody
probably.
else will have to be.
Like April 2nd, or that's a Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a first time we meet. You wanna handle it?
Yeah.
Okay.
April second?
April
Well,
2nd
we'll have
is a
to,
Tuesday.
we gotta coordinate with the church.
Okay.
Because we
Before-
gotta,
yeah, that's correct. We gotta get with Pastor
You wanna
You
Jerry.
talk
can't,
to
you
Pastor
can't
Jerry?
be much later than that, it has to be
No.
before that, or,
right.
that's like your last. day.
Well, is that, when does early voting start?
I don't have the exact date, but it's gonna be probably mid-April. So let's say the 10th, 12th, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's gonna be like impossible for me, but, okay.
So April second is a
Tuesday, and the 4th would be a Thursday, because they're gonna be busy Wednesday.
So do you wanna talk to Pastor Jerry and then?
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
And then we'll let everybody know.
Yep, we'll let them know at the next meeting. Oh, Davis, what about the drawing for positions on the ballot? I forgot when that email.
We send notice to all of the candidates, and it's really, yeah, I mean, it's a
Okay.
simple drawing out of a hat. Everyone will have the opportunity to witness, the drawing, so.
Okay.
I think we've already been in contact with everyone. If not, it will be, soon, so.
Is
I
time
think
up,
early next week.
Huh?
is time up for, new candidates?
Yes, yes, time has passed. So, yes.
Right,
it's
the
February
filing
17th.
deadline to file as a write-in candidate was 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So to file an application for a place on the ballot was 5 o'clock last Friday.
I thought the voting for this is November.
No, the voting for this is May.
It's in May.
It's the first Saturday in May, or,
Yeah.
yeah, first Saturday in May, whatever
fifth, I
that
think
is.
it
The second.
It's not part of this, the general,
It's a different it's,
it's separate.
yeah, it's a separate, well, it's part of the county and part of the election, but it's not, it's like.
Could I ask you to consider a
How
different
they do
date
that.
than the 2nd? I'm out of town, return on the 5th.
You gonna do it when?
Well, I've already got a trip planned, I can't cancel it, got a lot of money invested in it. Get back on the 5th, so. If
Take
possible.
it up with your coordinator here.
Let me find out when absentee voting starts, and then
Right,
we'll
okay.
try and
Yeah,
coordinate.
just let me know. Thank you.
So we'll coordinate that with the church.
Okay.
So. All right.
All right,
Are you leaving or are you staying after the executive session?
Either way.
Because she's gonna leave while we're in executive session and then I need to get back out.
We'll get you to.
all right. We will adjourn to executive session and then we will be back. All right, we are back in session.
met you guys.
All right, we are back in open session at 8:20 PM on February 22nd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Well, we gotta
Oh.
establish next date, March 28th.
March 28th, is that the next meeting?
That's the 4th Thursday.
Okay. Next meeting is scheduled for March 28th.
That's
Okay,
right.
all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
A second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I too.